one of them that was a friend, and he died here. And 10 days after his death, I was out visiting my buddy who's in this picture. And if you look very close, you can see that his friend is in spirit form right over his left shoulder. You can also see that the fingers are long, that there is something. We have an expression that basically say when a person dies, they stay around their body for 3 days and then go off, and they basically have the same thing that happens to them. Now, with respect to the alien craft, we have American citizens which are suited up like this. UFOs 24 hours a day, and we're trying to learn what to do. These are two guys, two American citizens, and they're trying to protect themselves against germs and things like that. And here's another view of them. And here's another one. There's an upper part of a UFO and a lower part of a UFO. This is the upper part, and it's just one of them up there. They have, generally we give them suspenders so that if they start floating, they don't have gravity on the inside. Somebody can grab them and pull them over to the side. And this is the home planet that they come from, which they call Quintonia. Now notice that the hand, that's an alien hand. Notice that that the fingers are longer than ours by quite a bit, about 30% longer, and that's just the way they're put together. Now, at any rate, this process that introduced me directly or indirectly to Dr. Teller's work with the group that still is in charge of Area 51 and equivalent. Turned out to be a doctor, very, very fine gentleman. And I was carrying on a conversation with him. He saw how the subject was going. So he simply said, well, you need to know what I did one day. And I said, okay. He said, I was in the process of doctoring a pilot who was a test pilot, a Navy test pilot for the United States government. And it was 1947. Said he began, I don't know if it's a drug I had in one or what was occurring, but he basically told me that the radar group, had found a blip out over New Mexico, and that they would like to assign me to go out and check it out. So he said, fine, I'll do that. And he got the fastest airplane that existed then, was a propeller at the time. And it was fully armed and all the rest of those things. Nevertheless, he was out flying, and he found the item, And he immediately communicated back, and he said, I wish authority, first of all, I want you to tell me, are there any other airplanes flying? Are there commercial or anything else around other than he and I? Said, just the two of you. And he said, fine. Second thing I want to know is, do I have authority to shoot it down? I said, why do you want authority to shoot it down? He says, because I am flying the fastest thing that the United States can make, and he's beginning to leave me. Therefore, I know he's either a friend or an enemy, and if he's leaving me, he's an enemy. Therefore, I wish authority to shoot it down. The commander said, fine. He granted him authority. He pulled in. He shot him down. He came down. He flew past and saw that there was a road on the one side of a fence area. He came down and landed his airplane. Hard to do, but he did it. And then he cut across the fence. One of them, the door was open. One of them was out walking around. But he didn't care about that. He cared about what the vehicle was. So he went over, and rather strangely enough, when he ducked down, because they were only 5 feet high, he saw that he could see through the walls. Not only that, but as he stepped in, the floor was spongy. He looked at the 3 that were there, and they were dead. He knew they were. He'd killed them. But he also knew that the military would come, and he'd put up with those guys for a long time. So he went back across the barbed wire fence, got in his airplane, and took off. Therefore, he was never briefed out at all. And he didn't give my friend authority to allow me to know what his name was. I know, but I won't reveal it. Both of them should have been gone for a long time. Nevertheless, so when I got up with my contacts in Area 51, I brought up that story, and they said, well, that's totally true, but we can't say it, you can. And that's how they've kept me all this time, is I can talk about it, but they can't. I do, because of some very good reasons, keep things within control, but I don't want us to fall behind the Russians and Chinese. And the problem I have is that Area 51 is working with both the Russians and Chinese right now. And trying to make UFOs, they have, there's been a total of 39 United States citizens that have lost their lives trying to reverse engineer UFOs. And the last one I heard of was a year and a half ago, where we lost 19 lives in one test. They actually wanted to bring various flying craft near the UFO, and the UFO defended itself, and 19 of our people died. Now, they kept giving me things rather than, they would give me pieces of UFOs, and I would come to my laboratories. I had the laboratories of Lockheed and every place else, so I would do that, but I would get pieces of UFOs. For example, I have 3 little pieces of UFOs down underneath the thing that looks like a quartz crystal. Notice that that is my hand, and it is giving weight. It says that it weighs 100 grams. Now, without those three items, when I take the UFO material away, notice that the three UFO items are gone. But also notice that the weight of the crystal is now 650 grams. The implication here is that if I were to take the pieces of UFO and put them underneath an average man's scale, he would weigh 45 pounds. Basically, they're working in anti-gravity, and therefore our effort is anti-gravity. Now, not only that, but we take these same pieces of items, and I go to a standard voltmeter, and notice that in my voltmeter I am getting a total voltage of 249 volts out of one piece of UFO. Not only that, but the team took a piece of UFO and connected it up like this and was able to have a complete laboratory operate for 6 months with heavy equipment. And it goes all the way up to 12 amperes. And since you didn't really get this before, here's the foot with the of an alien, and where we have 6 ribs that are connected together, they have 3, and the total height is less than 5 feet. And they still look like this, not like you and I. Nevertheless, so we're able to obtain voltages and anti-gravity, and anti-gravity appears several ways, which is rather unique enough. Scotty talked about UFOs. I basically said, yeah, I understand, because here is what Area 51 was giving to me since the year 2000 and beyond. Notice it's recent, and we have one triangle, then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we have one that's 150 feet across, if not larger. And each one of these are separate documentation of UFOs that were photographed and taken across the world from the year 2004. Now, when you actually get what that all means, is a UFO, when it's white on the underneath side, is ready to fly like that. And it's anti-gravity, that's the reason you don't hear anything. But when it's just parked means just floating in air. It could be above your house, like this, and this. This turns out to be the heads-up display that the aliens see of how to go to Area 51 and store their craft. Nevertheless, this is what the craft look like. That's how they change power. And notice that here's an egg-like thing, but it's standing on end only because it has no gravity itself. And that is a piece of UFO germanium. And this little dot is a piece of neodymium magnet, which is above the germanium, and it's floating all by itself. And that again is a UFO. And we don't know why, but the crystal appears to be colored rose, and we can't figure out why yet. There's a whole batch of analysis that we're having to do. Alien, side view, front view, top view, line. And that's the power center of palladium in the middle of the craft. In case I missed anything.